gift certificate good at Lincoln Printers and Sign Designs for being our WHOW Lincoln Printers Business of the Month. Nominate a business you'd like featured by emailing us at whow@randyradio.com.
Lincoln Printers and Sign Designs salute this local business for helping make the community grow. And when it comes to envelopes, wedding invitations, signs, banners, vinyl wraps, and more, find us online at lincolnprintersinc.com.
Hey, this is Todd Gleason from Illinois Extension here with a time change for our daily market report on WHOW. You can now catch our daily review of the commodity markets at 5:06 on all of WHOW's many platforms. You'll still hear all of our commodity analysts and weather professionals each afternoon, but at a brand new time. And you'll still hear the weekly wrap-up of the commodity markets right here on WHOW when Commodity Week airs Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Remember the time change for the daily closing market report on WHOW at our new time, 5:06 p.m. weekdays.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the phone today, Jack Myers with Social Security. Good morning, Jack. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Seth. I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing even better when we've got mornings like this and yesterday and several here throughout the month of February, as we just got out of February, but where it feels like we are into spring. It feels like high school baseball games. It feels like Major League Baseball games. It feels like golf, all those things.
Yeah, it's we can see the light, literally. The sun is shining, so we can see the light.
Yeah, I noticed last night I was getting the grill fired up. It's like 5:30, and I'm like, I can see my entire neighborhood. Like, I can see down the street. I can see my backyard. Like, I don't need the flood lamp on. So it was kind of nice, and we'll spring forward here in another week or two. So that'll be fun as well. But Jack, let's dive in. We start our conversation today, March 5th. That comes up on. I need to change my calendar in the studio. March 5th starts on Sunday and goes through the 11th. Slam the Scam Week. Tell me about Slam the Scam Week, Jack.
Yeah, so basically, March 5th through 11th is something that's called National Consumer Protection Week. It's something that the Federal Trade Commission does, and Slam the Scam Day is going to be part of that on March 9th. And, Seth, we've talked a lot about the imposter scams, government imposter scams, Social Security representative imposter scams. And unfortunately, they're just not going away. I think by now, all of us have gotten some sort of scam call, whether it's a person claiming to be from a government agency or from an auto insurance or, auto warranty.
Those are the worst. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. We're all accustomed to them now, but unfortunately, people are still falling victim to those. And so basically what's happening here is Social Security and our Office of the Inspector General are teaming up, and we've been doing this for the past few years to combat the Social Security related imposter scams, and have even expanded this notion through Slam the Scam Day to include other government imposter scams. And that's part of why we're kind of tying it into the National Consumer Protection Week. But it's really all about awareness, Seth. It's about talking to you on a program like this. It's about getting messages out there on social media. It's about getting your listeners to share this information with their friends and family, because that's how we beat this. We beat this by knowing that it's coming and being prepared and not falling victim to it. And so helping people identify those is a key part of this whole Slam the Scam initiative that is, kind of culminating on March 9th, but really it's something we've got to be aware of always. It's just a day. March 9th is just a day to highlight it, but it's something that we've got to be vigilant about and start to try to recognize these scams so that we or those that we care for don't fall victim to them.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a government imposter scam, Jack, but my wife and I fell victim to a scam actually just this morning. So we foster dogs through the local pet adoption group, and we've got this little foster pit puppy in our house. And so normally my wife wakes up and she'll go to the gym, and later on, I'll get up later and get things started. I'll get myself going, get the dogs fed and all that stuff. Well, she didn't do that this morning. And so it was just me that got up. I fed the dog, forgot to tell her about it. She fed the dog again, and she told me, well, he was acting like he was hungry. He kept standing, under his food dish, or like under where his food sits on the counter, was acting like he needed to eat. So I fed him thinking you didn't feed him. So I think I've got a con artist in my house right now, Jack.
Hey, he's opportunistic, it sounds like.
It is. He is. But no, in all seriousness, Jack, let's talk about how to spot a government imposter scam. What are we looking for? What should we be on the lookout for?
Sure. There are some common elements to most of these scams. So, one of the things that they'll often do is they try to exploit fears and threaten you with arrest or some kind of legal action. If they're posing as a Social Security or another government employee, they'll often claim that there's a problem with your Social Security number or your monthly Social Security benefits, or they might claim that your Social Security number has been linked to a crime and you're potentially in trouble and they're trying to help you get out of that. So, in either of those cases, they're trying to get you into a state of panic where, we don't make the most rational decisions when we're in a state of panic. So that's their objective, is to get you there so that they can dupe you into doing whatever it is that they're wanting you to do. So if you get that type of person on the phone call, what you should do, I would say hang up right away or ignore the message. So if it's a voicemail or something, don't bother calling it back. Don't give out any personal information or money. And then you can report the scam to the Office of Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov, or just go to our ssa.gov website, scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see links to our Office of Inspector General. So, you can report those to us, and we do encourage you to do that so that we can get our work in order to try and put a stop to those. It's a challenge, but we have been successful at shutting some of those down. And the more data points we gather on those types of situations, the more likely we are to stop more of them.
Mm-hmm. Now, that's not to say, Jack, that Social Security would never reach out to you, but it seems like most of the time that's going to be a correspondence you're expecting. Speak to that a little bit, and the ways that Social Security will reach out to someone.
Yeah, that's a great point, Seth. I mean, if you set up an appointment for somebody to call you from Social Security at a certain date and time, well, then that that's probably valid. If you get a call at that date and time, then that probably is us. Or if you've got some sort of business that you're working on with us, and so there's a reason for us to be calling you, that's probably a good indication that it's legitimate as well. But if you owe money or something, if you've been getting benefits and you're overpaid, we don't just call you up out of the blue to tell you something like that. If you legitimately owe money to us, we'll mail you a letter to let you know that you owe money, and it'll include your payment options and appeal rights. So that sort of correspondence is going to be in writing. We're not just going to call you up out of the blue and start asking you questions. And if you do owe money, because that's one of the things that these scammers do a lot, is they somehow try to figure out a way to get money out of you. So if you legitimately owe money to us, there are only a few ways that you can pay that. I mean, there's a pay.gov website that you can use.
Mm-hmm.
You can set up some sort of online bill pay with your bank so that it mails checks to us, or you can physically send us a check or money order or drop it off in our office. But nobody's ever going to come pick up money from your house. Nobody's going to accept from Social Security, that is. Nobody's going to accept gift cards as forms of payment. Nobody's going to accept cash that's wired or mailed in some other way. Those are, unfortunately, things that I have heard people have fallen victim to, and people have paid money to scammers in those ways under the false pretense that they thought they were paying Social Security. So be very careful about that sort of thing. We're not going to ask for any of those obscure types of payments. It's pretty basic: check, money order. You can do pay.gov with a credit card, or you can send a check to us from your bank. But those are about the only options you'd have.
Well, and Jack, I had our local 911 director in earlier this week on the program, and his message was about scams this month. And one thing that was really towards the end of our conversation, it's if you're fall victim to a scam, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. And in fact, you want to tell someone, whether it's, I know for you, it's the office of the Inspector General, our 911 director suggested calling your local authorities. How about that? Just that component of this.
It's an excellent point, and it can be something that we feel embarrassed about. And unfortunately, our older friends and relatives tend to lose more money to these scams. And so I think when it happens to an older individual, there's a higher level of embarrassment, and there shouldn't be, because, sometimes we fear that our friends and family members are going to think less of us if something like this has happened. But that is not the case. This is something that these people are very good at. They're very skilled, and they are kind of like your dog. They are con artists. So you got to be careful there. And that's why I advise don't talk with them. Just hang up, because the longer that you're on the phone with them, the more likely you are to fall victim to that. So if it does happen, it is nothing to be embarrassed about. It is nothing to be ashamed about. And sometimes that is, even if it's a little bit of a longer con on the scam, sometimes they even prey on that because they get you to not tell your friends or family members. So don't be afraid to talk to people about it in your life, because they might help you figure out that something's not quite right there.
Yeah, no question. Well, Jack, anything else on that before we move along here for this morning?
Just some informational stuff. If you want to kind of look at some materials that we have about this on our website, go to ssa.gov/scam, and you can find a lot of this kind of stuff that we've already talked about, but it might be kind of helpful if you're wanting to go over it with a friend or family member. And don't forget your teenagers and things like that, because if they have a phone, they're a potential target as well. So don't forget about talking to them about this sort of stuff. That
is Jack Myers with Social Security, our guest. Jack, let's take a time out here. When we come back, we've kind of got an extension of this same conversation regarding scams, protecting the public from misleading advertising and communication. We'll talk with more with Jack Myers from Social Security on that next on The Morning Show.
WHOW.
Let's check the markets on the RFD Radio Network. I'm DeLoss Yankee. Nice to see you bounce back here. Maycorn up 5.5, 635 3/4, ending a 5-day losing streak. July up 3.5, 625 3/4. Although December is still down a half, 569 1/4. May soybeans up 15 1/4, 1494 1/4. July up 15, 1484 1/2. November beans up 11 3/4, 1359. Chicago May wheat today up 4.5, 710. Kansas City up 3.5, 816 1/4. Livestock contracts spend most of the day with a red screen. April lean hogs down 22, 84.95. April live cattle down 35, 165.12. April feeders down 122, 193.85. Stock market down 76 points. RFD Radio Network.
At Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Baum Motor Company in Farmer City, our job is to help you and solve your transportation needs. This is Scott Baum. Both in Clinton or Farmer City, we'll listen and find options for a different vehicle, or we'll give you repair options to keep that car, truck, or SUV safe and trouble-free so you can continue with your busy schedule. If it has to do with transportation, we're here to help. Visit our full-service team today in Clinton or Farmer City. Baum Chevrolet Buick, right from the start.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4 lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Jack Myers with Social Security is my guest on the phone here for this morning. Jack, let's talk a little bit about Social Security protecting folks from misleading advertising and communication. What's this all about? What goes on here?
Yeah, Seth. So, we spent the first part of the program today talking about scams, and those scams, they're, is a clear-cut scam and bad intention. They're trying to steal from you. But there's also kind of another angle that people take with this, and it kind of starts as unethical and then maybe trends towards scamming. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit too. It's something that we would refer to as misleading advertising and communication. And, basically Social Security and our Office of Inspector General work together to protect people from this as well. And the best examples that I can come up with this are when companies or people, whatever you want to call it, operate on the fringes. Okay, so what I mean by that is a great example is if you're looking to maybe say change your name on your Social Security card because you've gotten married. If you search it, you will potentially find our website, I hope, but you also might find a third-party website out there that's going to do this for you as a service, okay? So there are some pretty strict guidelines if they want to do that. Number one, if they're offering to sell you something that we offer for free, they are required to let you know about that. There's required language that has to be posted so that you understand the service you are purchasing from that company is offered free of charge by Social Security. If they're not doing that, then, like I say, they're kind of beyond the fringe, and at that point, they're being misleading because they're trying to, in some cases, make you believe that they are us and charging you a fee. So those are the types of things to look out for. There are ways that we can fine them. We can impose what's called civil monetary penalties against them. So if you come across that, again, you can report that to us at oig.ssa.gov. And then on our website, there is a pamphlet or a publication that's called What You Need to Know About Misleading Advertising. So if you want to research that a little bit more, go to ssa.gov in the publication section, look for that, and you can see a little bit more of what I'm talking about there. But we do take that seriously. So if you come across some sort of site that's pretending to be us or offering services at a fee that we don't charge for, let us know, and we can work to shut them down and maybe even fine them in the process.
So, Jack, talk to me a little bit about, what kind of information you want in these reports. Is detailed information helpful? I know screenshots are very popular anymore. Are those helpful? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great point because, those come in different ways. That those misleading advertisings can be something you see online. They can be a social media site. They can be something that's mailed to you. So if you are going to report something like that, the more info, the better. So for example, if it's a website or a social media account, a screenshot is great. If you can note the website address or social media link and how you came across it, that helps us. For emails and text messages, if you capture the entire message and any links, that's helpful. Anything that you get in the United States mail, just go ahead and keep the whole communication, including the outside envelope and any inserts. That would be helpful. Something that comes over the phone, caller ID, sometimes those aren't real reliable because they can be spoofed. But if you can take note of it, we'll take a look and see what we can learn from that. And then any kind of company name that they provide. So if they tell you a fictitious name or a callback number, if you can collect those details, those would be helpful for us as well. So remember, they come in a lot of different ways, shapes and forms, emails, texts, website, social media, actual mail. So, be on the lookout for any of those sorts of things and let us know if you come across it.
Very good. Well, Jack, let's talk about penalties against those who violate this. Just briefly highlight this with us.
Yeah, so I mentioned that there is this civil monetary penalty, and the rate is adjusted each year for inflation. So right now in 2023, for a single violation, it's $12,397 that we can fine them up to. And then if it's a kind of like a generally aired broadcast, so if like for example, if they put a commercial on your airwaves, we could fine them $61,982. So it gets to be pretty steep. And if they do like a postal mailing, so they sent something out through the mail, we can actually hit them with that $12,397 penalty for each mailing. So if they sent 100 out, that would be a potential of 100 times $12,397. So it could be pretty steep, pretty fast if we catch wind of something like that.
Interesting stuff. So again, where do folks go, Jack, to report those things?
Couple ways you could do it. You could report it to our OIG online at oig.ssa.gov, or you could also call the OIG hotline at 800-269-0271. So that's 800-269-0271.
Jack Meyer, Social Security, my guest on the phone. Jack, I'd like to talk real fast, if we can, about the redesigned SSA website. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so in December of 2022, we updated our homepage. So, the website address is still the same. It's ssa.gov, but we've just made some changes that we hope will help people find what they need more easily. Our acting commissioner, Kilo Kijikazi, at the time of the update, talked about how our website is visited by over 180 million people per year, and she believes it's one of our most important tools for providing efficient and equitable access to service. So that was really kind of the impetus behind the changes. We're just trying to make it easier for people to find what they're looking for. As people know, we're here to serve the American public, but the number of people who need service from us greatly outnumber the number of us who are working for Social Security. So what the website does is it aims to improve self-service accessibility to what you need most. And the hope there is that a lot of people will be able to find what they need from us through the website, so that our phone lines and our office traffic is kind of freed up for the people who can't do business with us online, because there's always going to be a certain number of people who can't do stuff with us online, and we recognize that and want to make sure that we're getting to those people in a timely fashion. So in some ways, if you go to ssa.gov and you can find what you're looking for there, not only are you doing things more conveniently and efficiently for yourself, but you're also helping out others who really just don't have the ability to do that.
Sure. Well, and Jack, when it comes to just the revamped Social Security website, talk a little bit about some of the benefits, some of the things that you can do on the new website. Is there new features or anything like that?
Yeah, so we're always adding new features to the website. It's something that's constantly evolving and improving. The look, you'll notice, first off, if you haven't been there in a while, you'll notice it's just a cleaner look. It's less cluttered, I think. So some of the things that you can do on the website, you can check your eligibility for benefits. You can save time on an application for a Social Security number or card. That's really been streamlined. So there's kind of a decision tree, kind of if you're looking to apply for a replacement card or you need to change something. That's really probably, I think, one of the coolest things that's changed recently. So if you're in need of a Social Security number, check that out. But there's all kinds of stuff you can do on the ssa.gov website. If you haven't been there in a while, check it out, because I think you might find something that's useful to you.
The website again is?
ssa.gov.
That is Jack Meyer, Social Security, our guest on the phone. Network news on the way.
WHOW.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton, 92.3 FM W222 BG Clinton, 106.5 FM W293 DJ Normal Bloomington.
I'm Rich Thomason. Another town hall on tap this evening. East Palestine, Ohio, as residents continue suffering the impact of the toxic train wreck This forum will be different from last month's, though, in that this time Norfolk Southern representatives will be there. Last time the railroad was a no-show. And apparently it's not only local residents suffering the effects of the toxic chemicals released into the air and the water.
Workers at the Norfolk Southern derailment site in Ohio